So, welcome to the Divorce webinar of January 2026. Hello, everybody. The first thing that I want to explain before I start is that I do swear a lot. I use swear words in my everyday language. It's not aggressive. It's normally because I'm really passionate about what I do, or I also use swearing when I'm doing a little bit of humour. So please don't be offended by it. But I may as well put that out there now because I might swear in a minute, and then I don't want you lot to be shocked. So, if you're here thinking, how the hell did this become my life? You are in the right room, because I felt like that and I absolutely fell apart. This is not a fix yourself webinar because you are not broken. You're not behind everyone else, and you're definitely not failing. This is about a glow up. This is not a glow up on the outside, such as a new hairdo, new nails, weight loss, or a new bloody tattoo. This is your glow up from the inside out, for you. A glow up about the way you think, react, and choose and see yourself. By the end of this session, I want you to walk away thinking, oh, that's what's been going on in my head. And more importantly, I know how to shift it now. So I'm just going to show you a slide. So the three biggest problems that women face, something that I see time and time again, is I've lost who I am, and we will talk about these in more detail in a second. The people around me are draining, and anxiety, overthinking, and living in survival mode seems to be a daily occurrence for women that are going through trying to navigate their life after separation or divorce. So, what are we actually going to dive into in this webinar? We're going to talk about the three biggest problems that I've just shown you that women face after divorce. These challenges are something that my clients say to me time and time again. But I also see it talked about on social media by women who are navigating life after divorce. So the likelihood is you're going to recognize yourself in at least one of them. I experienced all three and it was really tough. And with each one, we will look at what is actually happening to you, no pink and fluffy shit, and then how your mindset is keeping you feeling stuck with these challenges. We'll then talk about how to reframe it, transforming how you think, and then how to deal with the people around you without losing your mind whilst navigating your new journey. There may be a little bit of humour around our quirky brains in the way that they work and how they impact our lives. So please don't be offended. Adding humour actually doesn't lessen the feelings that we have, but it does take the sting out of it. Because if we can't laugh at some of this, then honestly, we would absolutely scream. So let's look at problem one. I've lost who I am. Let me paint a picture for you. What supermarket do you normally shop in?
Sainsbury's.
Okay, Sainsbury's, right. There are other supermarkets available, everyone. So this is not a sponsored webinar. So you're standing in Sainsbury's and you've got a trolley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You stare at the ready meals, but for a concerning amount of time. Like it's looking weird now, the kind of amount of time that you actually stood there looking at these ready meals in this aisle. And suddenly a thought comes into your head. What do I even like anymore? Me, what do I like? Not what the kids like, not what he liked, not what the bloody dog liked, and not what fitted around everyone else. This is about you. And it may not be a ready meal. It could be, what hobbies do I like now? I can't remember the last time I even thought about doing a hobby for myself. I can't remember what types of movies I liked. Simple stuff to think about. But when you've lost yourself, all of a sudden you will question this because you have done everything for everyone else before you. You came last, right? You chose to be last. And yes, it is very commendable. Something that a lot of us do is put others first, the kids, the husband, the pets, the friends. Yet now, here we are, staring down the barrel of our new life and having no idea which path to take, what to do in our newly found free time. And hence the phrase, feeling lost, kicks in. It kicked me in the stomach, I have to say. It didn't just slide gently into my DMs like a 20-year-old lad on Tinder. It was the shock and it frightened me. For years, we've been playing different roles, normally socially expected, and sometimes expected by our ex and the kids. To be the female jack of all trades. I can't speak today. What is wrong with me? So, this is mum, wife, peacemaker, organiser, emotional shock absorber for everyone else. Not to mention the other roles such as chef, nurse, cleaner, the list goes on, right? It's something that we focus so much on the relationship that we've had. We put all of our efforts into making them happy that we then forget what makes us happy because we strive to continue to keep them happy. So how can we stop or lessen the mindset of feeling lost? I include the word lessen because sometimes mindset shifts don't happen overnight. I'm a coach, but I'm not a miracle worker, a minor miracle worker for my clients. But if a thought process is deeply ingrained, it is genuinely hard to open someone's mind up to transformational change, where they go to bed with a mindset that doesn't serve them, to then wake up with a mindset that does serve them. Rome wasn't built in a day and all that, but it was built a lot quicker than you think. So the problem isn't that you've lost yourself. It's that the version of you that survived is no longer needed. You don't need to stay in survival mode any longer, not for one more day. So how do we reframe this? We use something called NLP. Stay with me. Neuro-linguistic programming. Now you're thinking, what is this? It sounds a little bit woo-woo, but you need to stay with me because once you've grasped it and practice it every day, it will genuinely change your life. I wish I'd known about this in my 20s because my goodness, the choices that I would have made to stop me jumping from one toxic relationship to another, honestly. So, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, is a powerful, practical, and action-oriented toolkit designed to help us manage our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours to create a more confident and empowered life. I describe it as a user's manual for the mind. So NLP allows us to reprogram our thoughts from negative, the stuff that doesn't serve us, to positive, the stuff that does, which is essential for rebuilding our lives after divorce. So to break it down further, as it's important to understand, because logical thinking and less emotion is actually needed here for NLP to be successful in our lives. So let me just share my screen again. Is that showing for you?
Yes.
Thank you. Another win, modern technology, Zoom, you will not beat me. So neuro-linguistic programming, let's just break it down into simple chunks so that you can understand it on a basic level. Neuro is the mind, about how we process information, and we use our senses, okay? Linguistic is how we use our language, and programming is our behavior. And they are all linked because how we process information will then determine how we speak to others and ourselves, and then that determines how we behave, okay? And then we'll go into it from there. So let me just share it again so that I can, 1 second everybody. There we go. She just needs to click stop share. It's not that difficult. Welcome to the modern world, everyone. So let's just explore those a little bit more so that you have a better understanding. As I said, neuro is about the mind, it's about how we process information. It's about using our senses. So for example, what we see and we hear and we feel. Linguistic is about how we use the language to order our thoughts and communicate. It's our inner dialogue, essentially. And then programming is the behavior, the habits and patterns that we repeat, which can be updated to get better results and stop the cycle of patterns that keep making us stuck, keeps us stuck in a place where we repeat the same bad decisions, for example, choosing the same men, and then we maintain the low to almost zero boundaries like me, and that's what I used to do. So why do we use NLP or for divorce or separation recovery? Many women experience a loss of self-worth, anxiety, overwhelming negative thoughts such as we are not good enough, we'll never meet anyone again, we are too old, we're not pretty enough, and all that jazz. I used to think all of these things and they held me back. I don't want the same to happen to you, and neither do you, and that is why you are here. So you know that NLP, in summary, because it is much deeper than that, but you know that it's the basics. And so how do we use it to stop us feeling lost? Your brain is still running on the old program, which is keeping everybody else happy, staying small to keep the peace, so you don't want to rock the boat or tread on eggshells for an easier life. And I get why you did that, because I did that. But the environment has now changed, yet your program hasn't, because you're no longer in that relationship, but yet you're still subconsciously telling yourself that you are and that you can't move forward. So here's a visual exercise we are going to do to reframe it and view it differently. Imagine yourself in your marital home. The furniture, his pants on the floor that infuriated you. You've lived there 4 years. You know where everything is. You can walk through it in the dark and find your way. Now imagine being dragged out of your house and into the middle of an empty field. You're not lost in that field. You're just standing somewhere that's new and without a map yet. Yet is the key. The glow up starts when you stop asking, who was I or who am I? Stop questioning the who. Start asking yourself, who do I get to become now that I'm not surviving? Say it each time you ask who you are, or when you feel lost or stuck. Say it out loud if you need to. What does this do? It stops the brain's thought process. It stops the circuit running around and around. It stops the feeling of lost because we break the circuit. It stops us spiraling and going down a rabbit hole of looking at who we are and why we aren't fixed already. And why we're also not over it. And what does it do? It allows us to be kind to ourselves. It's the most important thing. It allows us to stop beating ourselves up about not becoming over it already. It allows us to stop giving ourselves a hard time on why we aren't healed. We don't need to be healed. It's about acceptance of where we are now, and that journey is new and that we are finding our way, one baby step at a time, slowly. So problem 2, the people around us are draining you. Now, this may not completely apply to you. It's good to know for the future, though, for when people come and go from our lives, that you may have wonderful people around you at work, maybe no more contact with your ex, and a great family, perhaps great friends, and that might work perfect for you. But what if it isn't? What if you still have contact with your ex, or perhaps your friends are still friends with both of you, because that's a very common thing that happens, or that they think that you should be over it by now, that they're sick of hearing about it, or your family are disappointed that you didn't work on the relationship. Let me show you the effect of these people that stay close to you. Now, I'm not saying cut your family off. What I am saying is perhaps consider how much you tell those people around you who aren't supportive, that you cancel out the white noise. Because we are a byproduct of the 5 closest people around us. So we need to choose wisely. So as you could see in that video, there is just one rotten lemon to start with, only one. But when that lemon is in close proximity of the others, they rot too. And yet this is exactly why so many of us women, we do this before divorce. We surround ourselves by those who bring us down, make us feel small or even behave small, and you do not need to accept this now. You deserve to be surrounded by good people, and if you can't cut them off, you can detach. You can create space and feel comfortable with it to protect your peace and protect your new journey. So how can NLP help you with this? Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real genuine threat and emotional contamination. Now that you're safe and out of that relationship and on your journey, if you constantly surround yourself with or stay in contact with people who reinforce fear, resentment, victimhood, or even judgment, your brain still thinks it's unsafe. So how on earth are you supposed to move on? So how can we reframe this and set boundaries that we have probably never set before? It's not about bumping everyone off and living on a bloody mountain, although actually that would be quite nice. So let's stop the webinar and let's just go and move to the mountains, because I like that idea. I joke, but what is this really about? It's about asking yourself this: who gets access to my energy right now? Who supports the version of me that I'm becoming? Not the one I was. And this is key, because the version that you are becoming is not who you were before. And sometimes the glow up could look as simple as quiet distance and no drama. And that might be all that you take away from today, but you can start that right now, this very second. And that will help you massively in your glow up post divorce. So how is that feeling? Does that feel like that's achievable for you today? Oh, thank you. Problem 3 is anxiety, overthinking, and living in survival mode. Do you in your brain do any of these? So replay conversations, imagine worst case scenarios, jump 5 years into the future at 2 a.m. and it keeps you awake, because I do all of these things, although I know how to manage it now. So mine used to do all of this all of the time, and it drove me wild. And the lack of sleep as a result of my brain spiraling became physically draining, and I was an absolute mess. But this isn't a weakness, but I bet you tell yourself that it is. But what it is, it's a threat-focused brain. So I'm now going to show you a video of actually an awareness test. So let me share my screen again. Let's see if we can have one more win for technology. Here we go. What I want you to do, and I will pause it halfway through because I want an answer from you. So there is a team that are in white. They've all got white tops on. Okay. And then there's another team, and they're going to pass the ball between each other in the white team. I want you to tell me how many times they pass the ball. All right. You ready? We've focused. I want to see how you get on. Okay. I'll press play.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Okay. How many did you count?
12.
12. Ooh, okay. Are you ready to find the answer?
35. Yeah, I'm ready to hear the
35.
answer.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
So watch it again.
But did you see the moonwalking bear?
It's easy to miss something you're not looking for. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Did you see the bear?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Did you see the bear beforehand or not?
No, I didn't notice it.
Okay. So that's really important, because there's only about 1 in 100 people that actually notice it. So you're not alone, for sure. It's rare that people see that. And so what I'd say to you is that you don't know what you don't know. So what if all of your problems in life, things that weren't going well, all of the frustrations were the team in white? And what if all of the good in your life, your accomplishments, your smile, your achievements, your small wins, the wonderful things in your life, the happiness, the joy, your peace, were the moon walking bear? But it's there right in front of you and you've missed it because you're focusing on what wasn't working. It's a good video, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's obviously a driving awareness video, but you can see how sometimes, and I do it as well, we focus so much on all the negative stuff that's happening that we can't see all the positive that's around us. We just focus on that, and that becomes then our reality because we choose it to be. So right now you might be feeling fearful of the future because it's unknown, it's uncertain, because perhaps the thought of what if holds you back. And that's where the white team with the ball come in. You're so focused on those feelings that you can barely see or feel anything else. And that is actually anxiety. You forget to look around you and see that you're safe, that you're capable, that you survived worse, i.e. the breakup, and it's over now. So NLP teaches us that anxiety is attention placed in the wrong direction. It's not about stopping those thoughts, because they will still be there from time to time, and that's okay. But it's about what we do with them that matters, and it's about widening our focus. So here's actually a true story. A little while ago, I was considering moving house. I wanted to go somewhere bigger. I drove down one street and saw all of the for sale signs, and they caught my eye naturally because it was something that I was interested in at the time. But I wasn't in a very good mood that day, and I was trying to navigate my new journey after a domestic abuse relationship. And as I looked at these houses, I kept thinking, I can't even afford the bloody house that I've got, and these houses are all overpriced. I then started spiraling into the economy shit, the UK is shit, I don't want to live here anymore. I was feeling quite depressed and it was heavy, and I projected that feeling. I used what I was seeing to validate how I was feeling. The next day, I drove down the exact same street. I was in a better mood, and I don't even remember why. I think I'd either been to the gym, or I'd had a good breakfast, or I'd had better sleep. But whatever it was, fuck knows. I just genuinely don't know, but I was feeling good. I was full of possibility. So then I looked at the same houses with the for sale sign down the same street, and my thought was, it's a buyer's market. Now is the time for me to buy. I'm in a good position. And nothing had actually changed on the outside, but it had changed on the inside. So what you're focused on is what you're looking for. Does that make sense? So NLP promises us that if we change our map, it will change our experience. It will change how we feel, change how we react to our map of reality. Not reality itself, but what it means to us. Because all meaning is fiction. So if you don't like the way you feel about something, you can change it, because NLP gives us that choice. What's one of the most common behaviours that we all do that never works as intended? Self-judgment imposter syndrome, as it's normally called, where we think we're not good enough, we're not clever enough, we're not attractive enough, we're not strong enough, we're not confident enough. So what is the point of beating ourselves up? How often has beating yourself up ever worked in making yourself happier and getting better results? It doesn't. It just doesn't work. So if you can recognize that it doesn't work, maybe it's time to do something different. Has any part of you thought, oh, that's me? Yep, me too. Imagine how powerful you could be, though, when you practice this and embody it and live it. So I'm now going to tell you a little bit about me and about what I do in the coaching space, because I think it's important that you get to know a little bit about me, but I'm not here to burden you with my journey of how I've got here. So this is the exact work that I do with women who are ready to stop surviving divorce and start stepping into their next chapter with confidence, clarity, and power. I help women move out of survival mode after divorce and into clarity, confidence, and emotional strength, calming the nervous system and rewiring the pattern that keeps us feeling stuck. Together, we break women free from anxiety, self-doubt, and old patterns so that they are back in control. We shift how we think, we react, and we show up. The work we do together is transformational by shifting their mindset, which allows them to move into their best chapter yet. But this isn't traditional coaching. This is one-to-one sessions with additional real-time WhatsApp support, so that when there's triggers, anxieties, or situations that come up in our everyday lives, they don't spiral. They have someone there in their corner every step of the way.